Hey, everybody. Happy hump day.
Hey, hey.
I was behind the scenes playing air guitar, so yeah.
I have just been off all day. I don't know what it is. I have no idea.
And
it's just kind of like it was
how's that different?
I know. I was supposed to do an interview yesterday, but the person that I had an interview with is like, "Hey, I've got this thing going on. Can we reschedule for tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't have nothing going on." Well, that was a big mistake because I forgot that my daughter had an orthodontist appointment, right?
Oopsie.
Okay.
So, hey, it's Brian Bowden.
So then I take off and I go to the orthodontist appointment. Well, it's not today. It's in 2 weeks.
Oh, dang. Oh, man.
So I had to,
you were
put my
off
interview
today.
off for another day. I'm like, what is going on? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Something's happening. I have no idea. So I'm like, oh my gosh. But if I have to black out tonight, it's because I'll have to go rescue the kitties again tonight.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they're calling for storm. So my daughter was cleaning out their little litter box and all that stuff that we keep for them outside. And then I have to go and bring them in before it rains tonight. So here we are.
Well. I'm trying to say hi to everybody over in chat. So
hi, everybody in chat.
Hey, everybody in the chat. Hey there, Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. Brian Bowden decided to drop in. Everyone check out his show. He also has a show Wednesday nights.
Yep.
Always good to give love and support to our friends. And Brian is definitely a friend of the Island of Misfit Toys, as Tex likes to call us.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the name's already been taken. Yeah.
I know.
Nope.
I like my original name for our group better. It's Donnie and Pals.
Donnie and Pals.
Let me think about this. This might go up there with the Hudson Brothers, okay, and the Rock'em Sock'em Hour or whatever the hell that was.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We should send Brian the link and have him jump on here. I bet you he has.
I double dog Gary.
I double dog Gary. Somebody send him a link. I can't do it right from here. Somebody send him a link.
Know him.
I think he's got his show soon, so he's got his show coming up soon too. I mean, I totally would, but I don't think he's in the chat anymore.
Tonight. It is tonight. I keep forgetting. Dang
it. I totally would, though.
I think he's scared.
No, Brian would be excellent on this show. He's always a good time.
I know, but I think he's scared. I think he's scared because Donnie said his name, so Donnie has scared him off.
I don't know. We talked a little bit on Sunday about, I went to the Bigfoot Festival there in Townsend, Tennessee, and how I had a really good time. I heard so many stories, and you would think that I would hear more Bigfoot stories than I would anything. And that was completely false. I was like, wow, I'm not hearing anything because I'm like, have you had an experience? Have you heard it in the woods? Have you, I was trying to get stories, like people to tell me what's going on in Tennessee or surrounding areas. I didn't get much.
You didn't get as much Bigfoot talk as you expected?
No, not at all. I was like, wow, that's crazy. We're in the land of Bigfoot. And there was nothing. But I will tell you this much. The paranormal stories that are coming out of Tennessee are crazy.
You get back in the backwoods of Tennessee. This comes from a guy who spent 8 years at Fort Campbell. So, backwoods of Tennessee, ooh, there's some fun out there.
I mean, it was crazy. And, but I did have a lot of fun talking with everyone, and it was good. And I'm like, I really wanted to hear some really awesome Bigfoot stories, but I did, but just not as many as you thought. I heard, of course, about the rock throwing and the whoops and the and the different things, but I just didn't hear as much. I'm like, man, maybe because of course we're Blondes and Boos Paranormal Podcast. Everybody associates the paranormal with just ghosts. And we all know that is not the definition of paranormal. So maybe that's what it was. I don't know. I mean, it does have a Bigfoot and a ghost and an alien on our banner. I was hoping to get a little bit of something everywhere.
Tennessee Kentucky Bigfoot got it right, though. He said right there, that many of the stories don't make it out of the woods. And he's right. It's all word of mouth, just like Native Americans. It's all word of mouth back there. I mean, you either experience or you don't know about it. One of the two.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the second experience I had, if it weren't for where I was and who I was with, I don't know if that story would have made it out either. I don't know. You know, you get that feeling, well, I don't really want to talk about this. People are going to think I'm really crazy. And
welcome to our world. Come on.
I know. I was like, that's just the way it's going to be. This is the way it's going to happen. I don't even know what to say, you know? But that, you know, I was encouraging everybody to speak out about what they had seen and all that kind of stuff, you know, because I was telling them about our chat community. Hey, if you're there, hey, get in the chat, say hello.
Yeah.
We don't put up with the BS, you know. Everybody's super kind here, and that's the way we like to keep it. And you know, I'm like, everybody's accepting. You know, I mean, we're not going to tell you that couldn't happen. We weren't there.
Calm that accepting thing down just a little bit, okay?
We don't accept Randy, but you know,
that's
how
true.
it goes.
And we only accept one Korean. We've only got one Asian in the group. That's all it's allowed. All right.
I'm the only Asian in the entire paranormal scene. And I aim to keep it that way too. If I ever meet another Asian person in this scene, I'm giving that person the major stink eye. Like, there's only room in this scene for one of us, dude.
Didn't we try to get him to talk to the other Asian at the Dogman conference that year?
Yeah, I was like, no, there's only room for one of us.
I was about to say, it looked like you were going to go take him out too. Like,
no, I've monopolized this scene for my people.
Oh my goodness!
The cryptid paranormal scene is mine, folks.
It's yours, huh?
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
Instead of us actually, you know, saying what we were saying or whatever, doing what we were doing as far as the upcoming the upcoming events that we've got coming. I said nuptials for some reason. Like, yeah, we're going to consummate that sucker, aren't we? Anyway, I'm just going to play the promo, guys. We're coming to Richmond, Missouri. Get ready, because here we come.
Here we come.
This is the future. Evolution.
The Crossing Realms Conference launches September 19th and 20th and will dock in Richmond, Missouri. This is already being called the event of the year, folks. With an unprecedented list of speakers and special guests, 2 days of cryptids, UFOs, and paranormal presentations, along with a celebrity-filled ghost hunt, meet and greet, gallery reading, vendors, and a film screening. This promises to be both educational and fun. Go to Eventbrite.com to secure your tickets and vendor slots before they are all abducted. They're going fast.
Okay.
I like the way Tex says that word film screening. He says it with such disdain. He's like, in a film screening.
Yeah, and you know,
in a film screening.
We're going to be looking through some portholes too, you know, while we're at it.
Right. But if you're looking to get tickets to the Crossing Realm Conference, go to Eventbrite, look it up under the conference name. You'll find all the information there. We have still have a lot of vendor spaces available because we have a lot of vendor spaces out there. I'm not kidding about that. And, you know, get your tickets. And don't forget, we have a psychic reading gallery that's going to happen with Mary Lynn Bass that evening on Saturday evening. Hey, we got a meet and greet. We got speakers Friday, Saturday. We got film screenings of documentaries. We got everything. There is just absolutely everything. So it is really the conference to come to. And, you know, going back to where I was this last weekend, I was even promoting this conference. And I'm like, hey,
Yep.
You know, half the speakers that are here, let me tell you, they're going to be over there at our conference.
Yeah. Period. Yeah. Let them and tell them, come on. We need all the help we can get.
Exactly. Just
like,
come on, let's go. Have
not
a
like
good
we
time.
haven't crammed everything into 2 days that anybody could ever cram, but
But I did get to meet Turtle Man.
Oh,
I saw that picture. I almost died laughing. Turtle Man and what was the other guy? The dude from Georgia that was with him. God, what was his
Swamp
name?
Man.
Swamp Man. Yeah, that dude.
Swamp Man. Yeah, I got to meet him too.
And it was really... guys, I have an idea for the conference. Okay, because I am a special guest, I'm guessing I would have my own table. So for my table, I've been thinking a lot lately about what I'm going to do at my table. I've got the perfect idea. I've been waiting to like drop this one at the group meeting in private, but I'm like, nah, let's just bring it out in public. Let's just do it. At Donnie Cho's table, I'm thinking, let's do open Ouija board.
You on your own.
We'll have a Ouija board set up. We'll have it going the whole time.
Listen, we want people to come. We don't want to scare them away.
What? No, it'll be fun. Everyone just shows up. Everyone, whoever wants to sit down, get your fingers up on that planchette, and let's get some ghost summoning going on during the whole conference. The ghosts will be like, "Hey, what's up? What am I doing here?" And we're like, "Oh, you're at a conference, baby. Why don't you come look around?"
It kind of sounds like it might end up like a certain school in Central America with a whole bunch of mass possessions. Yeah,
open Ouija board.
Could be. I mean, we could just set Donnie down with the spirit box and let him, talk to it.
Now, just stick the God helmet on him and put him up in a corner.
Oh no, we should get that Jesus spirit board. That Christian Ouija board. That'll be awesome.
Right? We could do the Christian one. Yeah, I mean,
no, Jason will just coming out of the blue and just flip the table on everybody.
I bet they could
get that out of here. Yeah,
he wouldn't even realize we're kidding.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
That'd be funny.
Too bad.
That would be funny, though. You got to admit, that would be funny.
I wonder if anyone's ever tried like an open Ouija board at a convention before. I'm sure it's been tried. I'm sure someone's done it.
Yeah, I just, it's not a good idea.
No,
because you got some idiot that's going to go ask the wrong thing. Period. It never fails.
It's not that, because we always talk about Ouija boards, and a lot of people don't like them, and I get it. I understand that. But all of it is about intent, and then how do you open it? How do you close it?
Right.
So, I mean, you wouldn't want inexperienced people up there messing with one just because you never know what you're bringing through. But again, let me say this, and I have to say it. You do it all the time. You talk to ghosts out loud. Just speaking to them opens that up. Yeah. Spirit, the spirit boxes do that. Any communication with the afterlife opens that, it allows something to come through the veil if they choose to. So it's all about intent. It's all about knowing what you're doing. And it's just easier I just leave the Ouija board alone.
I wonder if the spirit comes over from the other side and takes one look around at the convention. And it's just like, nah, I'm going back to the other side of the veil. I can't handle this.
Yeah.
Well,
overstimulation.
Where did people come from?
It sees all these people wearing like ghost t-shirts, and it's like, nah, I'm going to turn around. I'm going back home.
No.
Yeah.
Like that one, the one gif of the little baby comes running around the corner and says, "Oh," turns around, runs back.
Yep.
Yeah, that one.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course, the Ray County Museum is no stranger to paranormal activity, and so you would have lots of fun just sitting there because they do communicate with you very quickly, very easily, and so random. You could be sitting there for 2 hours and nothing, and then you get up and you say, "Well, I'm going to go get me a snack," and next thing you know, this thing starts talking to you. You're like, "Oh, okay,
yeah,
great." Or you may have this sounds of footsteps running up behind you as you're going to the restroom, or just whatever. You could have that. See, I mean, you got all the ghosts you need to talk to. They're all right there.
If you have that, you need to turn around and say, "You're not welcome in here. This is my no-no square."
Well, I did say that happened to me one morning. It was actually with Paranormal Paul, and Greg Ogles was there. And it was that night. It has been, from what Kathy said, who is the curator of the museum, that is the most active she's ever seen the place. And it was absolutely bonkers. Just bonkers. I mean,
they were all saying fresh meat.
Yeah, Paul got scratched. I guess something just didn't like what he had to say. I don't know. But see, I don't know always if somebody getting scratched is like they're mean or hateful. I don't always think that. What I think is they're trying to get you to pay attention, and sometimes they may overstep, just like we may pinch a little too hard, we may grab a little too hard, we may scratch each other a little too hard. There's Krista. That was a crazy night. And I mean, it was just fascinating because I've been going to that to that place for a few years. And Krista's been there for a few more years than that. Kathy's been there, for a few more years than that. And let me tell you, that was the craziest night ever. And we all had a blast. And not an Ouija board was used. Not one. I'm just telling you, Donnie.
Well, it's yeah, but you don't have to have them coming. I mean, you just, if you get into places, I've seen this in other areas. I shouldn't say it was with you guys, but in other areas, I've had people that go into a place and they're so psyched up for what they think is going to happen that they make things happen. You know what I mean? You've seen that before too. They just know they're going to do it. They know they're going to see it. They know they're going to feel it. And somehow it always happens, but nobody but them is the one feeling it. So, it's that psychosomatic thing, I guess. So in some situations, so.
Right. Absolutely. Well,
we got BMR out there.
Oh, well, hey, Rob. So I'm going to tell you about the little ghost story I heard.
Sure.
Okay, let's hear this thing.
And it's not scary. It's really not scary. I mean, it was something that kind of tugged on my heartstrings. It was something. Yeah, get your tissue, because this one's kind of good.
If you make me cry, I quit.
You can't make me cry. I pretty much have no soul, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There it is. Well, it was the lady, and she was just so sweet, and she was telling me this ghost story about how the next door neighbor's daughter, she was probably about 4 or 5 years old and had leukemia. And she was talking about her daughter was having visual sightings of ghosts, such as black shadows. She could hear them talking. She could see, all kinds of things. But they always talked with her about it because she was like 6 or 7 at the time. And they always talked to her about it. And they always said it was okay, that things like that happen, that they believed in those sort of things, and it was fine. But the little girl next door, the 4-year-old that had leukemia, her and the lady's daughter became really close friends. So her daughter would stay the night with the girl who had leukemia a lot of nights because she was sickly. And so it was great for her to have a friend. So she was going over there, and she came home one day, and she said, "Mom," she goes, "I met Iris." And she's like, "Who's Iris?" She said, "The lady that lives there. She comes down from upstairs." And she's like, "Oh, okay." So she called the little girl's mother and said, "Hey, who's Iris?" She said, "I have no idea who Iris is. There's no Iris that lives here." So the family had lived in the area a long time. So she decided to call her mother, who has lived in the area her whole entire life. And she started asking her mom all kinds of questions about the people that lived in that house. Well, her mom didn't have the answers for her, but she called one of her friends, and come to find out, the lady that used to live in that house, who died in the house, whose name was Iris. Iris died in the house. So her little girl had been seeing Iris coming down from the attic.
Mm.
One night, the little girl with leukemia had gotten really, really sick, and her parents didn't know. It was late at night, and the girl had really gotten sick. So the mom and dad were in the bedroom, and they were sleeping. All of a sudden, the mother felt something patting on her leg, so she kind of raised up, and then she seen this elderly woman standing right at the end of her bed. And she looked so real that the woman started to get out of the bed. So when she started getting out of bed, the old lady started to move away from the bed and out of the room. She followed this woman down the hallway to the little girl's room where the old lady went in. She went into that room and the old lady disappeared. But they did see that the 4-year-old was very, very sick and got to the hospital. So yeah, exactly. So Iris came down, woke the mom up, went to the little girl's room. The mom followed her in, saw that she was sick, and got her to the hospital.
Yeah, she saved her life, probably.
Yes, saved her life because she was very, very, very ill. I didn't find out how long she lived after that with leukemia. She may have survived. She didn't tell me the rest of that story.
Yeah.
But they did say later on that her daughter was looking through old photos that they had from the neighborhood, the community, and things like that, and they saw Iris with the neighbors.
Really?
And she goes, "See, that's Iris. That's Iris right there." And
no telling how old that picture was, huh?
Right. And that little girl's mom looks at it and she said, "That's the lady I saw."
See, and that's one of them. It actually gave me a little goosebumps because of the way that went. Because how many times have we heard that story though? Honestly, that story basically, how many times have you actually heard that told by people?
I've heard a lot of stories that they have had quite, the alike experiences. You know what I mean? But this one where the little girls had been seeing Iris, but the parents had never seen it. They didn't believe in that stuff. You know what I mean? They had no idea. They're like, "No, there's no Iris here."
Yeah.
You know, they just didn't believe in all that. And then her mother met Iris. Yeah. So I mean,
sure she knew.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that one kind of just, it just really got me, I guess, because I mean, we talk about our loved ones coming back and trying to give us messages and things like that. But this lady they didn't even know Iris. They didn't know her. They'd never met her. And then she helped save that little girl. So I mean, there are other stories. Ghost stories don't always have to be scary.
No, they're helpful in times, a lot of times, and life-saving at times. How many times have you heard the story about somebody? And I'll just go back. Anybody that's ever heard of the movie The Guardian with Kevin Costner and God, I can't remember Neil McDonough, where he's a rescue swimmer with the Coast Guard.
Yes,
and he there was talk about the legend of the Guardian, and the Guardian was the man in the sea that saved these people that were going down, and the rumors and stories of these people that are plucked out of the ocean about somebody holding them up and helping them, tell them, "Don't worry, something's coming, somebody's coming," and there's nobody there.
Right.
So that's maritime all over the world. Those stories, between that and the siren stories, obviously, that's just something that goes with being a sailor, honestly, or a Coast Guard.
Did this mysterious stranger look like Jason Momoa?
No, but he looked a lot like Kevin Costner, the way I understood it.
Well, I wouldn't mind being rescued by a Kevin Costner looking,
kind of cool looking guy type thing.
I would rather be rescued by Aquaman. I'm just saying.
Oh, do I need to show you a picture of me behaving like Aquaman? I've got one. I'll show it to you.
No, let's not, Don. Or let's not. It might scare Donnie. Just not.
I mean, I look pretty daggum. I look at Speedos, got a rake in my hand for a trident. I mean,
Right.
I mean, I look pretty daggum. I look at Speedos, got a rake in my hand for a trident. I mean, speedos, got a rake in my hand for a trident. I mean, speedos, got a rake in my hand for a trident. I mean,
That just scares me. That's a visual I need to get rid of. Thanks, Randy. Thanks.
You're welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just crossed over to the zone.
So yeah, that was a pretty touching ghost story, right? Like you said, not all of them have to be scary.
No.
Some of them can be like very positive, right? There are those stories of people having positive encounters with ghosts. Also, there are those stories of people having quite terrifying encounters with ghosts.
Oh, yeah.
That are really negative. But then there are the positive ones where, you know, something like Iris happens, where she saves a life or she helps people or shows people that, you know, they're being washed over. But then there are those really terrifying ones that puts like the fear of God in you. But then there are the pleasant ones.
Thanks, Donnie.
Then
you got the tricksters.
Yeah.
Then you got some tricksters and some goofballs. Now I'm going to relay one now that I just told. I found we actually experienced it when we did the Mineola Paracon, and this was only the first or second time the Chamber of Commerce, which is an old bank, had been actually investigated. And we've got several younger girls and everything. We got dowsing rods. We got K2 meters. I've got my tri-field meter that I'm carrying around and stuff. And I'm going into the vault because we go downstairs, obviously, into the basement. I go into the vault because I want the vault's got to have something going on in it, right? No, not one bit. Nope. Didn't even. I said, oh, I got a spike. Well, yeah, because there was a Wi-Fi or a transformer that was plugged into the wall and put up against it. It went like 300. I was like, okay, that sucker's leaking. Don't need to worry about that. So
don't stand too close to that for a long period of time. Yeah.
Well, and so we go into this one little room that's kind of catty corner. It's on the southeastern side, and several others in there. It's got a little storage room with some old furniture and stuff like that in it. And the lady's sitting there trying to talk using the Spirit Talk app on her iPad, and that's better than the ghost box a little bit because it get clearer sounds, you know, from it versus just a quick bloop 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 every so often type thing.
Yeah.
It's actually understandable somewhat. Does it really work? I can't tell you that. I don't know. I can't verify that, but it seemed like
we know I'm not big. We know I'm not a big fan of those. I'm just not.
And you know me, if it's a tool, I'm going to try and use it if I can, you know, type thing.
Right.
Well, I've got three girls with dowsing rods, and my daughter Olivia, she's got the dowsing rods of mine in front of her, and she immediately picks up on it and can use them all over the place. Doesn't have a problem. Like, I can't even hold them straight. What are you talking about? So, but she is sitting there, and I go into the little room, and I'm sitting there doing a little EVP session. I get nothing. And I stand out there with them as they're going, and the lady's talking to her little thing, and we got that. I've got my voice recorder going, and I've also got my tri-field meter. Now, my tri-field meter is a lot, I don't want to say less sensitive. It's more particular, shall we say, about what it picks up versus a K2. Okay. K2, you know, it could hit or miss type thing, right?
Right.
This one gives me actual number readouts of milligauss and stuff like that.
Right.
And you've seen me with it. So,
yes.
But I'm sitting there with it, and I just get a feel of a rush going by, right? I'm holding it. This thing pegs at like 50. I shouldn't say pegs, but it went up to like 50 milligauss. I'm like, whoa. It did that, then down to 35, back up to 50, and then boom, down to nothing. They start asking a couple more questions. I get that other feeling again, and boom, here it goes again. And it just goes back and forth. And I'm like, this thing never picks up like this. Never picks up like that. So I know something is going on, right? Keith, our friend, is with us, and he's playing with the dowsing rods over in the other corner, and he makes a little joke or whatever. No ask, no nothing. That thing comes up and says, oh, funny, like that at him. And we're like, well, that's kind of a little bit intelligent type thing. We turn it all over to the girls and we give it to them. We kind of walk out because this thing kind of it's reacting with them and not really with us. So,
well, of course.
We're going to let them play around with it, you know. And about that time, my daughter Olivia's boyfriend comes in, and as he's walking in, he's just got a little meter with the little K2 meter. He just walks in, and out of the blue, that thing comes out and says, "What are you doing here?" Just like that. And he's like, "Okay." It turns around. They spent 45 to 50 minutes in there going back and forth with this entity, and it was answering via either that or the dowsing rods. It was doing either or. And I'm like, wait a second. How can I not be talking to this thing and y'all get to talk to it? And my daughter's just looking at me and says, you just a repellent. That's what you are. You're a repellent. I'm like,
oh yeah,
freaking thank you. But but that was one thing. You got 3 people that had never really done this before are sitting in there having the time of their life because it's something they've never experienced, never dealt with. And I'm roaming around the rest of the basement going, I'm bored now. It won't let me talk to it, so I'm bored now.
Well, that brings me to a question though, real quick.
Yeah.
Well, not real quick, but do you think that as experienced investigators that we sometimes go in with too much
junk
hope? We're trying to actually manifest this stuff ourselves. Like we're trying to really get something, and to where a new person, a newbie, would come in and they have no expectations.
No.
And just like receive everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%. I mean, because there's been many of them I've gone into. I really want something to happen this time. And 99.9% of the time, I get nothing. I mean, you know how it is. You go into a lot of places. You spend 90% of your time just doing nothing but either setup, breakdown, and then watching footage or hopefully having an actual experience.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen that often. It really doesn't. But with these kids, and I say kids, they're in their 20s is what they are. All of them were in their 20s except for like one. And I'm just like, they're so receptive and pick up on the stuff that I would have blown off type thing. Because me, I go in a skeptic mindset anyway. I'm there to try and debunk, disprove. If anything happens, great. I want to know it, But when that thing went off on me, I said, I knew we were in something, because that is my telltale right there. Because that thing just does not go off unless it's a legit thing happening, a legit field running across it in some way, shape, or form. So then having the conversation for, 30, 45 minutes that they had down there.
Which is great. Great.
That's great interaction. Because like I said, they must've had a lot of energy because it'd only been investigated like once or twice before. And that's it.
Right.
6 months earlier, the kids, they did the same thing at the 2 daughters. Abby, you met, and Olivia, the other one, had the same thing happen at the train station there in Mineola, where they sat there in the girls' bathroom with a REM pod and a little voice recorder, and they had an actual conversation back and forth with this little girl that was in that room. I couldn't even get a K2 to go off. So
well, that's what I'm wondering what's happening, if that's happening like in these bigger locations that I go to and nothing happens.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, oh God, here's another one. Let's just not. I'm so sick of them. But then when somebody new comes in and you can look at them and listen to them and feel they're just the high vibration they're putting off and how excited they are when they get responses. I'm wondering if spirits are like more excited to talk to them because they're like, I'm tired of talking to these other people. They're boring. It's the same stuff. Yeah. We're actually getting responses, or is it that they're carrying a higher frequency because they're so excited and they're bringing more energy, which is in return making the spirits going, hey, well, I want to stick near you.
We got some fresh energy here. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I just want to stick near you.
Yeah.
Because you got that feel good feeling. you know. Right.
And when we were there, I found out that down that street where where everything's at, where the theater, Johnson Street there in Mineola, there's an underground spring / waterway underneath there with a lot of limestone. I found out while we were there. And I'm like, well, this explains why I'm getting readings in the middle of the street.
Could be.
So there's a lot of residual running through there, period. Right off the bat.
Right.
So
what do you think? What do you think, Donnie? I mean, do you think that maybe spirits are tired of talking to us people that are kind of old hat? You know what I mean? They're like, yeah. And that, you get these new ones in and they're all excited.
I think it depends on the individual spirit and the people there themselves. I think certain groups or certain individuals would be more likely to bring that energy on or bring that energy out. Certain spirits would maybe react to a certain group better than others, depending on that individual spirit's proclivities or tastes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I don't think there's a general thing that could be had from that. I think it's more specific to the group and to the spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
that very
possible.
well could be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very possible. I mean, I just find that people who are just just now getting into the field, who are like super super excited about things, and they still can get that little jump scare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know me, it's kind of like something happened, and I'm like, can you do it again? You know, and then you have these newer people that have kind of like they either jump and run or they scream or put off more energy into their area. I'm just wondering
Or you might have one group with more skeptics than others.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be that one person that doesn't believe. It depends. Like if it's a real touristy place, you might have like some people who don't even respect ghosts and who are just there because maybe their significant other is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just part of the group, but they don't really like have any respect for ghosts. I've seen groups like that.
Yeah.
Where the dude was acting a fool.
Right.
Being stupid.
Or no, one instance was a guy who was a completely skeptic, like not believing in ghosts at all. Like he believed that they were a straight up fake. But he was there because he was the brother of the guy leading the group and he was in charge of the cameras.
Ah, okay.
So it wasn't like, he wasn't there to be disrespectful or anything, but at the same time, he just straight up didn't believe at all.
Yeah.
Right.
And it would take something physically to happen to him that he could not explain in any way, shape, or form.
Which
it's kind of, those people need the Holy Grail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which leads me to the Holy Grail and to what I would call the total opposite of Brandi's story. Remember how you were talking about how things are, things can be wholesome and that ghost could be looking out for you and you can walk away with a real positive experience. Folks, let me tell you the total opposite of that story. And actually, Randy and Brandi, I've told this story before, but not as in much detail, and I didn't have pictures prepared.
Oh.
I got pictures prepared.
Okay.
Oh, joy.
So I've told you about this a couple times. The Shanley Hotel in Napanoch, New York.
Yes.
This place
Looks
is
spooky.
Paranormal Fubar. Okay.
Wow.
So you see how it's 3 floors? It's a 3-story building, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll show you where it is actually on the map. So on the bottom, that's New York City. At the very top, it's Albany, New York. Shanley Hotel is straight into Midway Point.
Oh, wow.
So
Close to being upstate, huh?
It's close to Woodstock, actually.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, so this place, it's in like a fairly like old but fairly populated town.
Okay.
Let me show you what's on the other side of the street from this building. Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
What's
What?
The New York State Department of Corrections correctional facility is literally like across the street from this place.
Oh my Lord.
This place is bad.
Yeah.
This place was also, like I mentioned previously, once the headquarters for the Irish Mafia based out of New York City.
Wow.
Like the head Don or their equivalent of it, that was his residence. So basically the first floor was the public floor. The first floor, this is what it looks like when you walk into the building. Right?
Wow.
That's like that's like the first, that's the master staircase on the right.
Yeah.
It's all the different wings because it's got, separate wings. The main wing on the left is here. This was the main meeting room. This was the main business room. This was a public room, public gathering room. And if you walked straight past this room, there was the gentleman's, it was like a mini casino, but only men were allowed. And then from there, if you go up a flight of stairs, it was the brothel. It was a small room with like 3 small bedrooms, but that was the brothel. Like basically what would happen is the men would go straight, they would drink, they would gamble. Then when the night was over, they'd go up to the brothel. The basement looked like this.
Of
It
course
was dungeon
did.
as all get out. And
Of
basically, during the Spanish flu, you know how like mad people died during the Spanish flu?
Yes.
Yeah.
They had like hundreds of bodies built up in that particular town in Napanoch, New York. Guess which room of which building of that town they used as the mortuary for the entire town? That basement.
That
At one
basement.
point, this basement was stuffed floor to ceiling with dead bodies.
Oh no. Okay. Okay.
So, do you see where that dude was sitting? I actually sat there when I investigated there. And apparently, no psychics or mediums would dare go down there. And people, and you know, we asked why. And they're like, oh, there's a shadow being. And I'm like, but most mediums would be used to seeing a shadow being, right?
Yeah.
But then the caretakers, the people who ran the place, were like, not when it appears like a giant spider, they don't.
No bueno.
As soon as it appears like a giant shadow spider, even the most hardened medium is just like, I'm out.
I am too. I'm
Okay,
out.
I'm doing a mental note right now.
To that dude's left, there's like it's hard to see, but there's a pile of rocks. Apparently, that pile of rocks was to cover up a small pit that the brothel workers would use to dump their unwanted results of their, you know,
of their frivolous behavior.
Yes, that's where they would dump off the results of that.
Oh my goodness.
This place was all sorts of bad. So, and also the Irish mafia apparently would execute people here too. So there was that also.
There was
that in my head.
Yeah.
If we're talking about spider being, you know, a spider thing, you know, we got to get Jason down there. We got to figure out how to get Jason down there.
So you've got the main floor, right? The main floor leads up to the second floor. Now the second floor, they have like these fairly nice bedrooms.
Yeah.
It's funny. The second floor, for whatever reason, is like not haunted. Like the caretakers, all the people, they say like for some reason, the second floor is like this weird sanctuary place.
Yeah.
Where that's like the one place where that has the least activity, but every other room is just like, oh, you're getting it big time.
Wow.
It's a given.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that before from owners in certain spots of the location. It seems like nothing goes in there, nothing's bothered.
Yep.
I didn't even tell you about the worst spot yet.
Okay.
The worst spot is the third floor. The third floor was at one point like a converted apartment. So each room was like an apartment, like a single unit apartment. Yeah. And most of the people who stayed in those, rented out these rooms were like, you know, people who like lived out of hotel rooms essentially. And this place is so haunted that it's basically uninhabitable. While all the other rooms, they're all decorated and lit and have, you know,
restored
air, and they're restored and they're livable. The third floor is absolutely unlivable. This is what it looks like. The whole place is just
go up there?
Empty. It looks like a crime scene. And the reason why they leave it there is people are not allowed to sleep there. You can investigate there, but it's unlivable. It's uninhabitable because the activity is just so bad.
So I guess they don't do any renovations up there. It's just
it's not livable. It's not livable.
Wow.
There's one room that's straight up. The floor is just a giant Ouija board.
Oh no.
One of the tenants of one of these rooms was a serial killer who was never caught.
Oh wow.
They eventually found out the reason why he was never caught because one of his victims was tied in with a biker gang. So the entire biker gang trapped this guy and they killed him slowly.
Took care of him.
They took care of him.
Yeah, they did away with him.
The guy was never arrested, but he was a serial killer. Another guy who was renting out one of these rooms was actually a prison guard who died on the job because he got shanked by one of the inmates.
No.
This place is, and here's the thing. They have the people who are caretaking this place. They have all the newspaper clippings. They got all the documents. They have it all there for you to look through. Yeah. This place is another level of bad, guys.
Right.
Another level of bad. So remember earlier I was telling you about the guy's brother who came in there as who was completely skeptical.
Yeah.
He was just there with the camera.
Right.
By the time he left, okay, so we were investigating the third floor, right?
Yeah.
And we're all off in our different rooms. Lights are off. Some people got EVP, some people got cameras. I'm wandering around. This place is ridiculously creepy with the lights off.
Oh, I bet.
I go into one of the rooms. I see that brother, the camera guy. He's all like shaking into corner. Right? Like this guy is like just froze, like he's traumatized, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, what happened? And he's just like, I can't believe they're real. Donnie, they're real.
They made him believe, didn't they?
What happened? And then he told me, like, he was just kind of filming in one of the rooms, and then he just said, for the sake of the camera, he's like, you know, just kind of half seriously. He was just like, yeah, whoever's here, you know, please make yourself known, you know, for the sake of the video.
Right.
And then he said he heard a guy whisper directly into his ear. He was like, hey, like just very clearly, like it was like directly in his ear. And he lost it.
Oh, I bet.
He straight up lost it. Yeah.
I've had that happen a couple times.
Yeah, more than a few times, actually.
So there was a girl that we were with who was like a psychic sensitive. You know, she's into like crystals and, you know, she's not like hardcore psychic, but you know, she's a sensitive, right? She's into the paranormal stuff. She's the one that got me introduced into this whole scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. She couldn't even walk inside this building.
Really? It was that bad?
She couldn't even enter the building. And she had paid hundreds of dollars to be on this trip. So it wasn't like casually, like she didn't want to go in.
She literally was scared to death to go in then.
As soon as she walked in, she burst into tears like 10 minutes in. And then she kind of pulled me to the side like, Donnie, I got to go. I can't stay in here.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
She knew. At least she knew, because there's no telling what she would have done later on.
And she didn't even know the history. Because we had learned about that after all that. Yeah. But yeah, this place is FUBAR. I'm telling you.
Wow.
Wow.
This place is on another level.
I'd have to go plant myself somewhere in there.
You ain't just kidding.
And when the caretakers, when they found out about her not coming in, they were like, yeah, you know, in every group, there's at least one or two. And we're like, one or two what? They're like, yeah, with a lot of these paranormal investigation groups, you know how they always bring that one or two like psychics or sensitives or mediums? They say every time that person can't come inside. They just won't. They just won't. They're like, this place is too bad. There's too much on that level.
That just hit the bucket list now.
Are they saying like something like maybe something's demonic in there, or are they just talking about the massive?
Oh no, they're talking about straight up. No, they're like, this place, a demonic, with a capital D. Because that girl that I was telling you about that I knew, she was used to going to haunted locations and investigating, and she was like, Donnie, this time, this was like a capital D.
Oh wow.
So
that is
wild, this place was FUBAR. And I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to be in here now. Now I'm wondering, like, yo, I got to be straight up with like straight up demons. I was just here for ghosts. I didn't think I was going to be like dealing with like straight up demons. So I was on edge too.
So who was telling you the demonic side of it though?
It was the caretakers. And you know what? We believe them because they were into some like summoning stuff. They had like one of the what'd you call that? Like the dijak boxes, like that wooden box.
Yeah.
And they're like, we did they had apparently, according to what they told us, at one point there was an exorcism performed where the priest who performed it took whatever being it was and locked it in that old-timey wooden box thing. It had like a chain on it. And they're like, here it is. Wow. And they put it like on a table next to me. And I'm like scooching my seat away. I'm like, yo, I don't want to sit next to that thing. Damn.
No, heck no.
Hell no.
You know, and I've always found myself in really active locations. The place I don't want to be is in the doorway. I don't want to be standing right inside a doorway anywhere. Yeah. Because I can't see anything coming. It has happened to me many times where I could hear them coming, you know, and you're the one right there by the door. And you're like, oh, you know, it's like, is something going to pop around that corner? You know, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Oh, what does it say?
She asked, did you ever just know when you visit a place, you know, when you go to a place?
There have been some sketchy places. I'm just going to say that. I didn't know, but there is a definite different feeling about it. With me, it's more or less, I just have this overwhelming feeling of fear. Like it's like doom, fear. And when I start feeling that, I know something's wrong in that place.
You're definitely getting it here. Believe me.
Yeah.
If and
when I go to different places, if I feel the activity, I kind of get excited, because I love this stuff. This is what I live for. But when I get feeling that, that's when I know something is sketchy. But we always say, if you're mean in life, you're mean in death. And sometimes those two can be confused.
Yeah.
That something, just a nasty person, or used to be a person, is messing with you, and they can be nasty, trust me. But when it comes to something demonic, they're slow and calculated.
Yeah.
They're very methodical in what they do. So there's a
we do
thing.
have something else that's a little slow and methodical as well. So
Donnie Cho, meme of the week.
It's that time.
Okay, it's everyone's favorite time, guys. So we've been talking about different types of ghost stories thus far.
Yes.
We've been talking about ghost stories that are positive and uplifting.
Yeah.
We've talked about ghost stories where not much of anything happens and people are disappointed.
Right.
And we've all talked about the other end where it's like so horrifying and terrifying that people can't even go into the building.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's a fourth type of ghost story I want to talk about now.
Oh, no, Donnie.
And that is the sexy ghosts.
The sexy ghosts.
Oh.
I've heard about these.
I have prepared a song for you guys, and it will explore the topic of the sexiest ghost. Are
Hold
you ready?
on to your seat, people.
If it's got text in it, we're fighting, all right?
Okay, ready? Here we go. You might want to raise your volume on this one, guys. Pay close attention.
I'm
it's
ready
time
for the
now
song. I'm ready.
For the sexiest ghost. That's the name of the song.
The sexiest ghost.
The sexiest ghost. Here we go.
All right.
This spirit's got me dancing all dirty. The afterlife has got me acting flirty. Come on, baby, let's turn a page. I hope you brought your salt and your sage. Patrick Swayze, driving the ladies all crazy. When the 3 a.m. clock begins to chime, your ghostly spirit brings that sexy time. Baby, you can help me shape my clay. Drop in from the sky, you're making my day. You bring that ghostly sugar and spice. The afterlife got me feeling all nice. Patrick Swayze, driving the ladies all crazy. When the 3 a.m. clock begins to chime, your ghostly spirit brings that sexy time. Oh, he's the sexiest of the ghosts, driving the lady spirits most crazy. He gets our mouths watered the most. His name is Patrick freaking Swayze.
That was it? That was an abrupt ending?
It ends. It's the program, man. It always ends the songs like that. It kind of sucks.
Oh, my God.
So what you guys think? What you guys think of the
Once
sexy
again,
ghost?
I told you we're going to have a fight if Tex was in there anywhere, okay? But really? You put Tex as Demi Moore? Come on now.
Oh, yes, I put Tex as Demi Moore. I had to.
Now I wish Tex was here. That'd have been perfect. We were wondering where he is. We don't know. He's probably working, but still. You need to send that to him.
Yeah, it
and
needs
tell
to go
him.
out on chat.
Yeah,
but Brandi, do you agree though that Patrick Swayze is indeed the sexiest ghost?
He is the sexiest ghost. He is,
he is.
I
can't agree now.
I really liked his movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the movie Ghost kind of killed his whole career because nobody could think of anything else but that movie and him.
What about
that's
Point
what I mean.
Break? He was.
Yeah, Point Break was a great.
was
What about
godly in Point
Roadhouse?
Break.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
you didn't have any Roadhouse in there. What the heck?
But you just think about Patrick Swayze, automatically Ghost comes up. I think that just kind of
or Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, that too. Though, you know, I think that just kind of I mean, he ended on a good note. I'm just gonna say, because Ghost is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of makes you wonder how Ghost feels sometimes, and it seems like that would be it, like the frustration and all of that coming through with the stuff he was doing, and it's just kind of cool how it was relayed. But yeah, he is the sexiest ghost, and he will always be the sexiest ghost.
Well, you know, Michelle was right, like you pointed right there. Now, Point Break was a great movie, but it wasn't the best. I still stand by Roadhouse to this day. Roadhouse is always going to be the best.
Of course, Rob.
Yes.
Red Dawn Wolverines.
Oh, yeah.
That was a fantastic movie.
Here's one that people forget about, though. He was also in Uncommon Valor with Gene Hackman and Randall Tex Cobb and those guys. The Vietnam movie.
Yes.
He was in there with them. And it took me until about probably the third or fourth time watching it to realize it was Patrick Swayze in the movie with him.
Yeah. You know, when they put out that new Roadhouse, I watched it and I thought, I just lost some brain cells. Did anybody else feel the same way?
The new one? I kind of like Conor McGregor in it, though.
Yeah,
he stole a few scenes. I liked him.
But that's just it, though. He was so over the top. He wasn't believable as an actual hitman. You know what I mean?
Right. But you know, you get Patrick Swayze in there, and the one line from the whole movie is, "I thought you'd be bigger."
Yeah,
you know, and that whole thing just defined the whole movie, because he was shown
everybody
as a
said it to him.
Right. Right. So I mean,
you know, and wait, you know, the first one also had Sam Elliott in it too, so that helps a lot.
That guy could talk to me all day, and I.
Hey guys, have I ever told you my Point Break theory? I have a pretty interesting theory that I put a lot of thought into about the movie Point Break. We've all seen Point Break, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's my theory. So what Point Break actually is, it's the story of if Jesus Christ met the Buddha. It is. Now here's why, okay?
Yes, please explain.
If you recall, think of Keanu Reeves' character, right? He was like a football star who became a cop, right?
Okay.
He was like this princely man, this perfect being, this football star, right? He becomes a cop, an agent of justice. And then who is his commanding officer, his CEO? Angel Papa. That's God. And he was sent by Angel Papa to go after Patrick Swayze's gang of bank robbers. He was sent to the earth to, you know, he was sent down. He descended from the heavens. That was the police station to protect mankind. And who does he come into? He runs into Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze is the Buddha. Now, here's why. Because he is a critique on the corruption and the sinfulness of the world. That's why they dress up as the presidents when they rob the banks, right? But then he doesn't really want the money, because that's the idea of the Buddha. He doesn't. He believes in no desire, no earthly desires. So it's like an analysis of what would actually happen if Jesus Christ were to meet the Buddha. And there's all this imagery too. There's all this like religious imagery. I'm serious, guys. I'm not even kidding.
I'm with you there, JD. I'm with you.
So yeah, Patrick Swayze is the Buddha. Keanu Reeves is Jesus.
Woo! You went out there for that one. Okay.
Oh,
ooh, I'm sorry.
It's true though. Rewatch it and think of it from that point of view. You'll be like mind blown. You're like, this really is Jesus versus Buddha.
I have a problem when I rewatch it, because then I get fixated on Gary Busey. I can't help it. Like, dude, what happened to you?
I know. That poor guy. That poor guy. I
feel for him. I feel for him.
Life wasn't good to him.
Well, he did have a motorcycle wreck and kind of give himself traumatic brain injury. So yeah.
Life wasn't good to him, but oh my gosh, John, you stretched for that one.
No, I really thought about this, because I had one of my episodes on Donnie Cho Says Stuff was examining if Keanu Reeves is really like Jesus reborn. And I think Point Break was kind of pointing to that.
But see, you also invented the Church of Dogman, so
yeah,
we've got to go there with that. You know, and you're the president of the Elvis fan club.
No, not the Elvis fan club. I am the president of the North American Elvis Project.
Yeah. The Elvis Project.
The newest branch of paranormal encrypted research. There's not a fan club. These are serious researchers, boots on the ground, field researchers, folks. And we are getting to the bottom of the Elvis phenomena, the newest cryptid. And perhaps the most important one.
You know, we should do a show on finding Elvis. You know, there are people out there that have all these theories.
There are Elvis experiencers.
We need to like gather that information and let's pinpoint where Elvis is right now.
I'll be honest, guys. I actually did have a couple, two. I think I definitely did. One was kind of iffy, so I might have had three different points in my life an Elvis experience. I'm just telling you guys right now. The reason why I haven't brought this one up before, because for too long, we Elvis experiencers have had our voice held down by the judgmentalness of all the Bigfoot people. They look down on us and they judge us. And it's about time that,
Brandi,
that we Elvis experiencers have a voice in the cryptid community.
Well,
I'm tired of being judged by Bigfoot nerds, guys. I'm tired of it.
Wait a second. Yeah.
I'm tired of it.
Little Patty got it right. Elvis didn't die. He just went home.
He went home.
Yeah.
Well, people say he was alien. They honestly...
That was for Men in Black.
Saying that he was alien.
Now, that being said, you're talking to probably the biggest Elvis fanatic you're ever going to meet for the most part. People say, "Do you think he's alive?" Well, no, because quite frankly, if he lived through the bit before, he'd be 90 now, so he ain't alive. All right, he's not going to be around. But there was a lot of stuff leading people to believe,
unless he's supernatural.
Fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Trust me, he ain't alive.
Yeah.
All right.
What if he's supernatural though, Randy? Like Bigfoot?
Now that might be true, but you know, I mean, Ray Stevens said it best in his song, and he said, "I saw Elvis in a UFO." You know, there you go.
You know, but on a serious note, I was always wondered about that. I mean, because I mean, right there at the, you know, in that end era that he had, I always wondered, what if they just faked his death and just said, "This is enough. You're not doing anymore. You can't continue this lifestyle. So you either have to disappear to live like a normal person, or you're gonna be seeing Jesus."
Yeah,
you know, because I always wondered that. You know, I mean, could they? What was that? Was that 1977? Wasn't it 77?
Yeah, 77. But you know, he had the means to do it to a certain extent. But he was in so much hock up to his eyebrows with freaking Tom Parker. It wasn't even.
But that's what I mean. I mean, what if they said, "Hey, we have an idea. We're going to disappear. We're going off grid. We're going to totally change who you are."
Well, I mean, but you know, Parker sued the estate after the fact because Priscilla cut his ass off.
Well, I mean, that's neither here nor there. I mean, the point is that could they have done that with him at that time? Absolutely.
I think they could have. Yes. Now, did it happen? I'm going to say no, because I'm just a firm believer. I think he did die that day. I really do. But that's just a me thing. I got no rhyme or reason for it. I mean,
there's a lot of unanswered questions in his death.
Let me ask you guys this question. Which celebrity ghost would you most want to encounter in like a paranormal investigation?
Oh, Lord. Actually, John Wayne. Honestly, there was his old yacht. I think it was. I can't remember the gentleman's name. It was one of those Hollywood ghost shows or whatever. His name, I want to say his name was Chris, but he was a medium, and supposedly he would get possessed by whatever kind of like the Derek Acora thing he used to do for on Most Haunted type thing. But this guy was on there, and he supposedly had John Wayne had actually entered his body or used his body or whatever case, and he talked about the pain that he was in. Now, everybody knows John Wayne was in a lot of pain at the end of his life. There was no doubt in anybody's mind. Anybody saw that last appearance at the Oscars, you knew he was on his way out. He was done. But just to experience knowing that he's there around you and the history that comes with him and the macho, feelings that you would get from him, because hey, there's your alpha male. And he didn't stop at the end of the set, he continued that in his daily life. He was alpha male, period, bar none. And that's what he tried to make sure everybody knew. So
the one celebrity ghost I would most want to meet, just out of sheer curiosity, Michael Jackson's ghost. That would be an interesting ghost. That would be an interesting ghost.
I think it would be. I really do.
Yeah, that would be.
Rob's got one here too.
Yeah, the Natalie Wood. There's another one. I think he did throw her off the boat.
I think it's between him, because who else was on that boat with him? Freaking the cowbell guy. What the hell is his name?
Oh, I can't remember his name right now.
Mine just went completely blank. Absolutely completely blank. Damn, I'll remember in a minute. Somebody please tell me what his name is, because I could not remember to save me. But
yeah,
he was
I can't remember, but I think it was either Robert or that other guy. Thing. Yeah, I think it was one of them. One of them.
I think
and I think the other one said, "Hey, you say anything, I'm going to throw you off too."
Yeah. Christopher Walken. So, yeah, thank you. Sorry, Christopher Walken. Thanks, Yvette.
Yeah, I think one of them did.
And Barbara, sorry.
They could have been both tired of her. I don't know, but I think one of them threw her off.
Yeah, because there's too many mysteries around it and too many conflicting reports as the way that she was found and stuff like that. So that's another true crime one that you like. But there was also a rumor for years that her ghost inhabited that boat, stayed on that yacht.
Wouldn't you? I mean, honestly.
I don't know if I'd do that per se, but she was always happy on the boat too. So the way I understood it.
Well, I mean, it's not even happy. It's just kind of like that's where the end of her life came. You know what I mean? And if there was something hokey about it, I guess I would try to tell anybody and everybody who came on the boat.
Yeah. So I mean,
I don't know.
That was a good one. I mean, and there's so many of them out there. I mean, where George Reeves committed his suicide / got murdered. The 50 Superman, the original Superman.
Yes.
That subject of the Hollywood Land or whatever it was, movie, but I think that was Tarantino, but I'm not sure. But that one, I mean, there's another spot. The Sharon Tate murders, there's another spot in the Hollywood Hills that's supposedly haunted.
It is haunted. From everything that I've seen, every investigation, everyone that I talked to about the Sharon Tate house, it's awful. And there's actually somebody living in it.
Yeah. Now, the last thing I watched documentary-wise on it, that person said that they didn't have any issues, quote unquote.
Again,
now, they may be saying that to keep other people away too,
And that could be true, that they're not having issues, or they may not really be having any issues.
Yeah.
Look at the guy living in the Exorcist house. He didn't have any issues.
No. And same thing with the people that came in after Tony and them guys left the Sally house.
Right. It's all in the belief system.
Yeah.
If I believe honestly that if you don't believe in anything, how can anything attach to you or just anything? You just don't believe in it. It just doesn't happen. It's nothing. I guess it's all an intent, isn't it?
Now, Kitty, she was in John Wayne's house in California there. I want to know which son. Was it Patrick or was it Ethan? Because I heard Ethan puts on a pretty big party out there.
Oh, Lord. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who I'd want to meet. There's so many.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I don't have an answer. I guess that would be something I'd have to think on.
There's so many of them that I would just not just necessarily meet, but just to be there when it's when the experience happens with if it happens with several people around, just to be there in the same area when it does happen.
Right.
Yeah, there's and the ones that are mysterious are the other ones. I mean, that's just we know what happened with John Wayne, but we know he was in pain. We know what happened with Natalie Wood. Now, of course, if it says that Natalie got it to the light, but she's gone now. I don't know if that's true or not. I have no earthly idea, but there's so many different ones. I mean, that's that. There was another one out there. I think it was Free Your Mind. I think that he's trying to talk about Andre the Giant. And there's rumors that his place in Tennessee, his ranch in Tennessee, is haunted still.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so Bristol, I did not know that. We'll talk about that one because I did not know he was involved in Star Wars in any way, shape, or form. Because the last movie I knew about him being involved with was The Shootist. So that's the only one I remember. So I had to ask about that one. I had to look it up, but either way. So as far as ghosts, though, yeah, that's like bucket list stuff there. That's the stuff people go on these haunted tours for to experience and stuff like that right there.
Right.
And now and with the recent ones, I mean, I would love to be down on a beach in Florida, or not on a beach, but on a wharf or something, and have Jimmy Buffett's ghost come up to me. I'd be in hog heaven. I'm telling you right now, I'd be in hog heaven.
Well, I was in Elvis's house.
Yeah, you've been in Graceland, right?
Yeah, I've been in Graceland. Strange as it is, but yeah, I've been there. Didn't feel anything weird.
No,
I don't think he's there.
I don't think there's anybody there the way I understood it.
Well, I don't think that his spirit is there.
The way I understood it, they act like it's not haunted at all, though, from what I understood.
I didn't feel a thing in there. I mean, it was just like walking through anybody else's house. You know what I mean? It was, even though that his mother's buried out there and, even all of that stuff, it just didn't feel, it didn't feel real. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Like
they put on a show.
It felt like you're walking through like a hotel or a museum or something. It didn't feel like you're walking through somebody's house.
Yeah,
it just didn't feel like that. It's very commercialized and I don't know. I think it's a great moneymaker, but something that they have done has taken away from the true essence of the person he was.
Oh, wow. He just came up with this. The elephant-nosed guy who told the stormtroopers where Luke and the droids were in Mos Eisley was voiced by John Wayne. He was uncredited, did it as a favor for Lucas. Now, that I'm going to go back and listen for now to see if I can pick
now
him
we're
up.
going to put some find.
That's something I did not know. So if I can pick that up, that's going to be a great one right there.
Right?
Oh, Here we go. JD asked you, did you go upstairs?
No, we could not go upstairs. There was somebody living in the upstairs. So we could not go upstairs. I mean, the house is expansive and it's huge. And but we were not allowed to go upstairs. We were not of course the bathroom that he died in is up there, and they won't let people up there, period. At all. Regardless. But somebody was living there at the time when I was there.
Yeah. And on that same note, like Bristol was talking about that, and you think about it too. We're talking about different things with different movies and stuff. You got Daniel Craig that was in The Force Awakens as a stormtrooper too. James Bond was one of the stormtroopers holding Daisy Ridley, whatever her name is, the one that played the girl when they held her. He was a stormtrooper. She used the mind trick on. But anyway,
Little Patty says they do now.
Yeah.
That'd
be kind of cool. But I don't think anybody's really living up there, are they, though?
I don't think so. I don't know. But what I do want to say about this is that the place where Graceland is located, is not in a great area.
Oh no, that's a bad part of town.
Yeah, and I think that if Elvis would have still been alive today, it would have been a different story in that area.
Oh, he'd already moved out. I think he just sold it and moved out.
I don't think that area would have went the way it did. I don't think it would have. You know,
it became a tourist trap, is what it did. It became a tourist trap.
And that's when it started to go downhill because it was a very beautiful area, very beautiful area. And I just I think because they turned it into that is where.
It's what caused it to get so ugly.
Yes. You know, there's spray paint all over the, you know, you walk up and it's like there's just graffiti all over the sidewalk and the fence. And you're just kind of like, this is not, you know, this is not cool.
Yeah, they're defacing it to start with. Sounds like.
Yes. And I don't think it's cool. I think they should do more with it, but I think they're just going to use it for what it is, and that's just a curiosity of a look into Elvis and how he lived. That's all. That's all it is. It's just a curiosity.
Chris got talk about going back there.
It's in the ghetto. In the ghetto.
I hear Cartman walking down singing In the Ghetto, so you know.
Yes, in the ghetto. That is, you know, and I swear, when I was living overseas, I heard a remix of that song of him singing In the Ghetto, and it was really cool. And I've never been able to find it since. I'm like,
which of Elvis singing
In the Ghetto? Yes, it was a remix. You'll have to look for it.
They did a lot of remixes with his, though. I mean, like, who was that DJ that took it to the Little Less Conversation? He remixed that sucker and added a bass beat to it, and it went to #1, stayed there for 3 weeks.
Yeah, no, this was In the Ghetto. This was In the Ghetto. This is that song. That song. So, and like I said, of course, I was living in Europe at the time, so it could, could have been somebody over there that did it. So I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, because Mac Davis wrote it, he actually did a recording of it, and then you got Elvis turning it into the mega hit it was. Y'all want to see something funny? Go out there and watch some of these people do reaction videos, and watch them do the reaction to listen to the first time of hearing In the Ghetto.
Yeah,
I've seen black women cry. I mean, they're literally crying as he's singing it. I'm like, I ain't watching this no more. I'm not doing it no more. I'm not watching it no more.
Yeah, they didn't realize he was gospel to begin with. You have to realize.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Got to remember where Elvis came from. He was a little gospel. And then he went to that rockabilly. Yeah. Yeah,
the devil's music.
The devil's music.
Little Richard would say. Yes, little Patty, you're right. That was not a bad little turnaround of them, because Lisa Marie, in her own right, she had a decent voice. She wasn't on his level, don't get me wrong. But I saw one time she did a duet and got on stage with Pat Benatar, and they did some stuff together. And they were amazing because they played off of each other so well. And, of course, Pat Benatar had such a powerful voice that you could screw up left and right, and she's going to cover it up. So.
Right. I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know. But are there ghosts, like all the famous celebrity ghosts of that era, hanging out together? Because I always wondered about that in the Rat Pack. Yeah. Are they hanging out together?
There's rumors about them in Las Vegas in some spots.
Well, Dean Martin was the last of them. Was he the last?
I
think he was the last one to pass away.
I think Sinatra was. Dean Martin passed before Sinatra.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I said, that's a long time ago. You guys, I've slept since then. I've slept since then.
He passed away in 98. And
I heard out of all of them, Dean Martin actually led like a fairly
95.
relatively like normal life.
Yeah.
In that while the Rat Pack was known for like tearing it up in Vegas, Dean Martin was actually not that much of a drinker and would actually, like, after all the public things, would go home to his suburban wife. And
Yeah,
And then he had
well,
the roast.
he was always they always talked about him being the goofiest one, the most animated of all of them. But yet he didn't need alcohol or anything to help him get into those type of characters. It just automatically came natural to him. He was just that kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he did so good with Jerry Lewis, obviously, and Jerry Lewis had to work his butt into those characters, you know, and get into that mode. But now he was a heavy drinker.
Jerry Lewis was another one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
when did Dean Martin die? Oh, that's
95.
right. Dean Martin.
95.
95 and Sinatra was
no,
in
Dean
98.
Martin died. Yeah, and Sinatra was 98. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. It was close.
I believe he was the last one though. I think everybody else. I'm pretty sure Sammy Davis was already gone by that point.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
I think he may have been one of the first ones. Sammy Davis.
Very well could have been. I mean, I had to go back and look up all the Rat Pack guys, but yeah. Free, you're right, because Dino had a hell of a voice. Hell of a voice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, ha, Freaky. They all died in the past. Thank you.
Right. But anyway, I mean, it's nice to talk about the ghosts of the past. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
You know, we miss these people because a lot of them maybe have touched our lives in one way or another, you know, whether it be through their music or through film or, you know, just something, you know, that really we still remember today. And that's sad because these people that we're talking about, such as the Rat Pack and all, were true performers that, you know, the generations today will not be able to experience. They don't have these type of people today. They don't have them.
Oh, I mean, come on, let's go out there now, and I'm telling you guys, there's some reaction videos, and I want everybody that's old like we are, not like Donnie. Donnie's not old. I'm telling you right now, Don Rickles. If Don Rickles was alive today, doing the stuff that he did back then, he'd have been canceled 10 years ago.
Oh yeah,
because everybody would have lost their crap, much like they did to Andrew Dice Clay. But Don Rickles would actually do it to your face and dare you to say anything about it.
Oh my God. Benny Hill was another one of my favorites. I used to laugh at him.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, these are just people from, you know, that are past that. They will not experience anything like this. I think, you know, unless something dramatically changes in our society. And it's sad.
Yeah.
And it's really sad.
I mean,
super sad.
I know there's some people doing new music today. Don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of the more how can I put it, popular songs that sell a lot are all remakes or some remixes in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
The vast majority of them now.
Right.
And I'm just like,
okay.
No, we're not doing no K-pop. That don't count. Okay.
I hate to be a contrarian here, guys. I hate to be the contrarian. But as a young person, when I look at the older generation, I feel sorry for them. I'm like, these poor suckers. Because they grew up without video games. So their childhoods were lesser.
Are you kidding?
Their lives had less fun.
We had no computers, no cell phone.
I had Atari and I had original Nintendo later on.
Poor people.
I
feel so sorry for you.
Don't tell me I don't have video games.
I had them too. I had
and all you people doing these
but you had like
shooters?
you had the dinky stuff like Centipede and Pac-Man. I'm talking about like the good games. You didn't.
You doing these first-person shooter?
Brandi, have you ever played a really good video game that just satisfied your soul, Brandi?
Yeah,
just satisfied your soul.
It's called Duck Hunt.
No, not Duck Hunt. Come on, man.
That's
the Stone Age garbage out of here.
Pong.
Come on, guys.
There you go, Ristel. You tell it.
Joust. Don't forget that. Joust.
Oh, God,
and the good old love of Pac-Man.
We need to teach Brandi video games.
Oh, I have video games.
No, like a real video game. Like real video games.
Oh, I got video games. I'll show you my video game.
Ooh, yeah. There you go, Patty. You got that. You got that.
Every time I see a boomer who's like, "Oh, you didn't live in the time of when we had the 70s and we had like Leonard Skinner," so, but I'm just like, man, you weren't there for the golden age of the PC gaming era, so get out of here. Your life was boring and crappy, and it sucked. My childhood was awesome.
I used
so
to
be
download
gone, you.
The old
be gone, you fossil.
I played outside with Bigfoot. My childhood was awesome.
Go back to the Stone Age.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we got out. We had to check ourselves for ticks when we came home. Y'all just sit on your humps and do nothing.
Donnie will never know what it's like when the street lights came on and you knew you better hurry up and get home.
Wait, you live somewhere?
Nobody even had to call you.
Lights?
Yeah.
Yeah, street light.
We didn't have street lights. I was too far out in the country.
Well, that's true, but we had to kind of travel to the woods.
Yeah.
If it got too dark, you knew to get out of the dark. How's that?
No, that didn't happen. My mom be yelling then. Get in this house right now. It's time. It's dark out here.
Yeah. When
I remember
somehow we always knew when that porch light came on. We just knew when the porch light came on.
Yeah.
That's all it was. You didn't have to see it. You just knew. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you didn't have a street light, maybe you had the yard lamp, where that is, you have to pay for that every month.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And it pops out in the yard and it's the only light out there.
Here's one for you. Party lines. How many people had party lines?
Party lines.
That was before my time. That was definitely before. When I heard about that, I'm like, damn, you boomers were bored.
Oh,
we only had the landline. We didn't have nothing else. We didn't have three-way calling.
You guys must have been bored.
We had that for years, and then all of a sudden, my dad gets the phone bill. He goes, "What the heck? Why is it so expensive?" He calls up the phone company. They said, "Well, yeah, you can go to a private line, and it's cheaper." Well, give me a private line.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and then that's when collect calls were collect calls, and long distance calls were long distance calls.
Yeah. And God forbid you made a long distance call, and Dad found out about it on the bill.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
It was over. It was over.
And it wasn't even that long distance when you think about it. Like sometimes we're only like 20 or 30 miles away, but you have like a 1 hour long conversation, and there's hell to pay on the phone bill.
Oh yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Fort Worth from where I'm at right here, less than 15, 20 miles away from it, was long distance. And I'm like, but here's the thing. You could dial 1 and the number, as long as it was in the same area code, you're good. We didn't have to put the area code in either.
I remember those days when you didn't have to put in the area code because you had no reason to. And then all of a sudden one day, like, you're just like, man, you got 3 extra numbers? Why?
Right. Well, anyway, guys, it's been a great hour and a half this week. Thanks for everybody talking about ghost stories and reminiscing about the past. Before Donnie's always got something left.
Real quick, Brandi, I got to ask you, would it be okay if I replaced tonight's outro video with that Patrick Swayze video just for tonight?
Yes.
Because
absolutely.
I think people need an encore.
I need an encore of Patrick Swayze. I need it. I need Patrick Swayze.
I need it, but you need to go back in it later and edit it and put some Roadhouse in there, all right?
Hold on, I'm setting it right now. It
doesn't make sense in Roadhouse. It's the ghost movie. Ghost, get it?
Patrick Swayze is loaded up as the outro video. Now you may continue with the conclusions.
Well, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Do you want to push the button, or you want me to push it?
I'll push it. I got
it. The button.
All right.
This spirit's got me dancing all dirty. The afterlife has got me acting flirty. Come on, baby, let's turn a page. I hope you brought your salt and your sage. Patrick Swayze, driving the ladies all crazy. When the 3 a.m. clock begins to chime, your ghostly spirit brings that sexy time. Baby, you can help me shape my clay. Drop in from the sky, you're making my day. You bring that ghostly sugar and spice. The afterlife got me feeling all nice. Patrick Swayze, driving the ladies all crazy. Your ghostly spirit brings that sexy tide. Oh, he's the sexiest of the ghosts, driving the lady spirits most crazy. He gets our mouths watered the most. His name is Patrick freaking Swayze.